Tim here, and we're right in the middle of the 2024 vintage, which is looking pretty amazing at the moment. We've already got some wines in barrels here just in the last day or two, which I'll talk about in a second. I'm really excited by the new releases we've got coming out. In particular, there's two really great wines that I think you're going to love. The first is a Block 3 from 2017. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon. Block 3 is a really unique block for us, and it's a really important block, I think, in the context of Mudgee and even Australian Cabernet for that matter. It's the leanest soils. It's soils where there's hardly any dirt. It's just all gravel and with a little bit of clay underneath it. And as a result, the vines really struggle, but they give us beautiful, low-yielding fruit. They're 50 years old now, so they certainly know what they're doing. Unlike a lot of other Australian Cabernets, we pick ours slightly leaner and not quite as ripe. This ensures that we've got great acid and really great tannins in the wine where they're not over the top yet. So we normally pick at about 13 Beaumet or just over 13 Beaumet if we can, rather than the 14 that many Australian or most Australian wineries are looking for. It's a wine that is very much a structural Cabernet. It has really great length to the wine, just has really fine underpinning tannins that hold the wine really nicely. And most importantly, they hold it for the aging process. And that low Beaumet pick is also an important part of the aging process because it means that the wine has really good acid in it. I think you're going to love this wine. It's just got lovely cassis, little bit of eucalypt, some really nice dark berries in it, a bit of strawberry maybe, and just some lovely fine tannins. Yeah, great wine. The next wine is a really interesting wine, our signature Shiraz. So this is one of our, or if not our top Shiraz. It kind of rivals the Special Reserve Shiraz. It's made differently to the Reserve Shiraz, however. For those of you who knew me from my Abercorn days, it's very much in that style. So I used to have arguments with Bob Roberts, the previous owner and founder of Huntington Estate, about which would age better, his Special Reserve Shiraz or my Reserve Shiraz that I used to make. And he would always argue that my wine would never age because I hadn't made it properly. But turns out I have, and I think even Bob acknowledges that now. So what we do with this wine is we're trying to jam pack a lot of flavors into it, trying to get it to be a fairly modern style of Shiraz. So it's got to be soft, but it still has to be big and bold, and most importantly, has to age really well. So there's a few tricks we do with this wine. One of them is we press off fairly quickly after, or even before the ferment is finished. So usually when there's still a bit of sugar left on the wine, so after about 6 or 7 days of the actual ferment, we press it off and send it straight into barrels. And these 4 barrels right here, along with some others behind it, batch 3124 is the 2024 version of the signature Shiraz. So as I say, that's why it's gone into barrel in the last couple of days. It's very time consuming to have to do this because in another week we'll have to pull it out again and then put it back and then pull it out and put it back. But it means that we can get slightly more oak character into the wine without the oak being so obvious. Also, the oxidation inside the barrels help us to really soften the wine a fair bit. So the most important part of this wine though is it's from a block called Block 1. Which is again 50-year plus vines that give us, relatively speaking, fairly chocolatey style of fruit. And that chocolate is really important in terms of the finished wine. So yeah, so it's, as I say, lovely dark chocolate, fruit cakey, but not porty, but still very much Shiraz in intensity. And it has those really great fruit flavors, a really broad spectrum of fruit flavors. And it is quite a ripe wine. Again, unlike our Cabernets, we do like to get our Shirazes ripe, so it got up to the 14 Beaumet mark, and that allows us to get that real softness to the wine. And then along with all the other treatments and the age of the vineyard and the beautiful quality of the fruit means that it'll age for a long time. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy these wines. I know I certainly am. I look forward to seeing your reaction to them.